Well, it's about this size, and it's got some tapes and some really great stuff in it, and feels good and just fantastic. Alienation, the whole box set.
Is he done? Okay. It has also gag reels. It's got the making of special parts programs. It's got a big interview thing with the cast, like a big cast reunion after the last movie called Udara Legacy, and lots of good stuff, lots of meat, lots of fat.
Lots of meat, lots of fat, but there's something there for vegans and vegetarians too, so it's not all that. And it's guaranteed to whiten your smile and freshen your breath. So we highly recommend it.
Gary just had another cup of coffee.
I had another cup of coffee, so I'm ready to go.
You know, the show it's almost 2 decades old, and it is still it's still has a strong popular fan base.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why is that?
They just won't go away, and
Why
we
is
love that about them. I think it's because they're highly intelligent and magnificent people. That's why, and they're.
What can I say?
I got nothing.
Okay, are you dry?
I'm dry.
All right. I think. All right. I'll do the serious answer. The serious answer is I don't know anymore. I think we did get in really, really far and deep with relationships with the world's newest minority, what that was like, their struggles, their family struggles, their family relationship between two opposites. I think the writing was probably the best writing I've ever been involved with. So I think the fans got it, and I think that they look forward to seeing that every week, and it touched a lot of people, and that's the honest answer. But yours was good too.
You're just being kind.
Okay.
What's easier to do, doing the series as it was a television series, a 1-hour drama, or doing the TV movies?
Well, we had a year. We would shoot 2 TV movies at a time, and then a year would go by and we'd shoot another 2. So having that off time away from the world and the characters was sort of difficult to come back to, but we sort of hit the ground running. But work-wise, the series was quite grueling. Doing back-to-back episodes, long about episode 16 or 17. The camera would be rolling, and I would launch into a speech, or I would start saying names that were 3 or 4 episodes previously, and the mind would just start, the memory would start to fade, even back then.
Yeah. It's sort of a good news, bad news thing when you do the series. Your whole life is about the series, and you're working 15, 16-hour days, and it's very hard to maintain. But it's the rhythm of it. You're so into it, and you realize that you're not doing anything else. There's something really wonderful about the continuity of it. I mean, the nuances that you could bring to it week in and week out. The movies, you had to kind of push the restart button, but we found that from day one of the movies, it took no time at all to get back into a rhythm. Although it did feel a little bit different to me.
Yeah, it was nice being a cop during the series. You live these characters, and it's nice being a cop all the time. I would go around and arrest people. Just pull them over and pull them in and say, "Oh yeah, tell it to the judge." And wait a minute, Gary, you're just an actor. Oh, I'm sorry.
Hey George, how long did it take you to put on the makeup?
It's funny you called me George. I like that. Yeah. It took. I was thinking.
Not as long as it took him this morning. 20 years later, And ask him about how long it took him to put on the nose. It's a huge thing. Big crane comes in. It's an old joke.
You don't have to go.
Sorry about that.
It started off about 2 hours, but they got it down to maybe an hour and 15 minutes or so, hour and a half. You're in the chair. You're in there 4 o'clock in the morning every morning, and your first shot is roughly 6:30 or something like that. So you're in the chair for a long time. Gary would come in as they're finishing me up, And he would just kind of look in the mirror, and they just kind of, I don't know, do something, whatever. And then he's like, "Hey, see on the." So I was on my third cappuccino.
Wow. Guys, when I was offered this interview, I jumped on it immediately because, and I'll tell you this quick story. My father and I, huge generational gap between each other, very little, if anything, in common. Rarely got together to do things together. When your show was on, it was the one program he and I could sit down together and watch together, and we had a connection over.
Oh, that's a great
cool.
story.
Matt and George bringing families together. Gary and Eric.
You still speak to each other, right?
Absolutely,
Oh, good.
absolutely. But it'll always be something for me, I will never forget how he and I connected with that show.
Well, that's what that show was about, in a certain way of barriers being broken down to get in there like that. And family shows, I mean, how many shows can you watch now if you had kids who were of TV watching age? Can you really sit down with and watch on primetime television?
Yeah.
But you could with that one. And I think that it comes from the heart. I wish there were more shows out there that it did have that much. Yes, that's a great story.
Before I go, I want to ask, do you guys have a favorite episode, or is one of the movies particularly close to you?
I love Body and Soul. I also loved, what was it, Chains of Love? Remember Chains of Love?
Oh, I remember that.
That was a great episode.
I liked there was two that stand. One was called The Game, which was sort of a Russian roulette thing going on.
Yes,
the other was
I remember
that was very intense, very good, because you got a lot of history about what happened on the ship. And then the other was, of course, the birth episode, which was so much fun being pregnant, or well, I wasn't
delivering
really
the
baby.
I delivered your baby.
You did, and that was probably like closer than most guys get. With his hands in my marsupial
up to my
pouch.
Elbows in Pepto-Bismol, as I recall, with my hand on your stomach.
Almost every show, though, I have to say, almost every show or film, what we had was the opportunity to invent so many things, so that there was always this great sense of play and invention in every episode and movie, and that was the freedom and the gift, I mean, as actors, that we had, I think, every week.